In the beginning, there was only chaos. From this swirling void of nothingness, a force emerged, vast and powerful. This was Gaia, the earth, the mother of all. Looking up into the emptiness above, she brought forth a companion, a sky to cover her. This was Uranus, the starry heavens. Gaia and Uranus, earth and sky, became the first divine couple, and from their union, life began to stir. Their first children were unlike anything seen before. The hecatonchirous beings with 100 hands and 50 heads, their strength unimaginable. Then came the Cyclopes, giants with a single, blazing eye in the center of their foreheads, master craftsmen of thunder and lightning. But Uranus, the father, looked upon these children with fear and disgust. Their raw, untamed power terrified him. He saw them not as his offspring, but as threats to his dominion. And so, in an act of terrible cruelty, he took his own children and thrust them back into the womb of their mother, Gaia, deep within the hidden abysses of the earth, a place known as Tartarus. Gaia groaned in agony. The weight of her imprisoned children was a constant torment, a physical and emotional burden that she could not bear. Her love for her children turned to a burning resentment for her husband. Day after day, she plotted her revenge, her heart aching for the freedom of her offspring. Next, Gaia and Uranus gave birth to a new race of gods, the 12 Titans. They were beautiful and powerful, 6 sons and 6 daughters, embodying the great forces of nature. Unlike their monstrous siblings, Uranus allowed them to roam free. But Gaia had not forgotten her imprisoned children or her husband's cruelty. She saw in the Titans, particularly her youngest son, Cronus, an opportunity. One evening, as the shadows grew long, Gaia gathered her Titan children. Her voice, usually warm like the soil, was now cold as stone. She revealed her pain, the story of their monstrous siblings locked away in the dark. Then, she unveiled her plan. She had forged a weapon, an adamantine sickle, its edge impossibly sharp, shimmering with a cold, hard light. She offered it to her sons, asking which of them had the courage to stand against their father and end his tyranny. Silence fell among the Titans. They feared Uranus, the all-powerful Sky Father. The thought of raising a hand against him was terrifying. All but one. Cronus, the youngest, the most ambitious, stepped forward. His eyes gleamed with a hunger for power that mirrored his father's own fears. He took the great sickle from his mother's hand. He felt its weight, its promise. He agreed to her plan. That night, Gaia laid an ambush. She lured the unsuspecting Uranus to her embrace. As the Sky Father descended upon the earth, filled with desire, Cronus sprang from his hiding place. With a swift, brutal swing of the adamantine sickle, he committed the unthinkable act. He castrated his father, severing the bond between earth and sky forever. Uranus roared in pain and shock, his divine blood spilling onto the earth. From these drops, new and terrible beings were born, the vengeful Furies, the warrior giants, and the gentle Malaya, the nymphs of the ash trees. From the sea foam where his severed parts fell, a new goddess arose, Aphrodite, the embodiment of love and beauty. Uranus, now powerless, retreated into the eternal void, but not before uttering a chilling prophecy. He cursed his son Cronus, declaring that just as Cronus had overthrown his own father, so too would he be overthrown by his own child. With Uranus gone, Cronus, the liberator, became the new king of the cosmos. He and his sister, Rhea, ruled from atop Mount Othrys. The Titans were freed from their father's shadow, and they ushered in a golden age. It was a time of peace and prosperity. The earth yielded its bounty without toil, and mortals lived long, happy lives, free from suffering and war. Cronus was hailed as a just and wise ruler. He had brought order from his father's chaos. But the prophecy of Uranus echoed in the back of his mind, a dark seed of paranoia planted in the heart of his golden reign. This myth is more than just a dramatic tale of divine succession. It's a foundational story about the cyclical nature of power and the fear that drives it. Uranus, the first ruler, is consumed by the fear of being replaced. He tries to suppress the future by imprisoning his children, the very symbols of the next generation. But you cannot stop time. His oppression only breeds rebellion. His cruelty creates the very enemy he fears. Cronus, whose name is linked to Chronos, the personification of time, represents this unstoppable forward march. He is the agent of change, the one who brings down the old order. His victory, however, is tainted from the start. He rises to power through violence, an act that will forever define his rule. He frees his Titan siblings, but, tellingly, leaves the Hecatoncheires and Cyclopes imprisoned in Tartarus, repeating his father's mistake of fearing what he cannot control. The curse of Uranus is not just a magical hex, it's a psychological inevitability. The son who overthrows his father through violence learns that violence is the path to power. He is now the one on the throne, the one with everything to lose. The fear that drove Uranus to tyranny is now reborn in Cronus. He becomes a prisoner of the same paranoia, constantly looking over his shoulder, seeing a potential usurper in every shadow. The golden age he presides over is built on a foundation of fear, a beautiful facade hiding a rotten core. This ancient story speaks a timeless truth about human nature. How often do we see revolutionaries become the new tyrants? How often does the fight against oppression lead to a new form of it? It's a warning that breaking a cycle of violence and fear requires more than just seizing power. It requires a fundamental change in perspective. Cronus's story is a tragedy. He had the chance to be a true liberator, to build a world fundamentally different from his father's. He could have freed all his siblings, embraced their differences, and ruled through trust instead of fear. But he chose to repeat the past. He was trapped by his father's legacy, not by a curse, but by his own inability to imagine a different way of being. He saw power as a thing to be hoarded and defended, not shared and nurtured. The myth forces us to look at our own lives and our own societies. Where do we see this cycle playing out? In families, in politics, in our own ambitions? Are we breaking old, destructive patterns, or are we just replacing one tyrant with another, even if that tyrant is within ourselves? The story of Cronus and Uranus is not just a myth about gods in the distant past. It's a mirror reflecting the eternal struggle between the fear of the future and the courage to create a better one. It reminds us that true freedom isn't just about overthrowing the old king. It's about refusing to wear his crown of fear. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey into the heart of Greek mythology. If you enjoyed this story and want to explore more of these timeless tales, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Let me know in the comments which myth you'd like to see me cover next. Until then, stay curious,